Have you ever stared at a mountain of assignments or work, feeling completely frozen, like your brain just refuses to move? You watch the clock tick, your to-do list grows, and deep down you wonder, why can't I just do the hard things everyone else seems to handle? Here's the secret. The world's top 1%, from Japanese CEOs to elite students, don't rely on willpower. They use a hidden brain hack, almost unknown in the West, that makes discipline feel effortless. And today, I'll show you exactly how it works. But first, why does this mental paralysis happen? Why do most solutions never stick? You know the cycle. You delay the hard task, telling yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. Hours pass, guilt creeps in, you start doubting yourself, wondering if you're lazy or not cut out for success. But here's the truth. It's not your fault. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. It protects you from uncertainty and effort. That's why even when you want to change, you stay stuck, watching others move ahead while you feel left behind. The frustration of wasted potential is real. But what if the problem isn't you? In Japan, high performers don't fight their brains every day. There's a quiet method used by monks, top students, and CEOs that flips the struggle completely. They don't wait for motivation. They don't depend on brute force. Instead, they use a system that almost forces the brain into action, no matter how difficult the task feels. It's called the Lotus Method. Before you think this is just another productivity hack, understand this. It isn't just ancient philosophy. Japanese neuroscience research shows that small, intentional actions activate parts of the brain linked to focus, discipline, and flow. The method combines centuries-old ritual thinking with modern behavioral science. Even elite performers and Olympic athletes apply similar principles to break mental resistance. So what is the Lotus Method? It's a simple 3-step process designed to hack your brain's natural resistance and make hard things feel automatic. You don't need superhuman motivation, you just need the system. Let's break it down. Step 1 is the Lotus Trigger. This is the secret to breaking the first wall of resistance. Japanese monks discovered that the hardest part of any task isn't the work, it's the moment before starting. So instead of forcing themselves to complete something big, they focus on a micro-start ritual. They simply open the book, write one word, read one sentence, solve one tiny part. That's it. This tiny action acts like an activation code. It lowers mental resistance and bypasses fear. The brain stops seeing the task as threatening because the commitment is so small. Most people never use this. They stare at the entire mountain and feel overwhelmed. But the top 1% know this. Starting small creates unstoppable momentum. Now here's where it becomes powerful. Step 2 is the Lotus Loop. After every tiny action, you create a micro reward. It could be a deep breath, a small stretch, a quiet yes in your mind. Why does this matter? Because every small reward releases dopamine, and dopamine doesn't just make you feel good, it teaches your brain what to repeat. When you attach pleasure to effort, your brain begins associating hard work with reward instead of pain. Most people grind through tasks and wonder why motivation disappears. They never create positive reinforcement, but the Lotus Loop rewires your brain. Discipline begins to feel satisfying. Effort becomes something you crave. This is how habits are formed. Now comes the final step, the real game changer. Step 3 is the Lotus Lock. This is the commitment anchor. High performers in Japan make their intentions visible. It could be writing the goal down, telling a friend, leaving a note on your desk, even sending a message saying, "I'm starting now." Why does this work? Because once you declare something, your brain shifts. The goal becomes a promise, and humans are wired to stay consistent with their commitments. That psychological pressure creates accountability. Most people keep goals private, which makes quitting easy. But when you use the Lotus Lock, backing out becomes uncomfortable. You're no longer just trying, you're committing, and that changes identity. When you combine the Lotus Trigger, Lotus Loop, and Lotus Lock, something incredible happens. You don't just complete tasks, you become the kind of person who finishes what they start. This isn't just productivity, it's identity transformation. Imagine waking up without dreading your hardest task. Imagine opening your laptop and starting immediately. Assignments get done faster, deadlines feel manageable, confidence builds, friends notice, teachers notice, colleagues notice, grades improve, promotions come sooner, self-doubt fades. This is the ripple effect of discipline built the right way, and it starts small. So here's your challenge. Right now, think about the hardest thing on your list today. Don't finish it, just take the smallest possible step. Open the file, write one word, read one paragraph, send the first message. That's your Lotus Trigger. Then take a deep breath and say yes. That's your Lotus Loop. And finally, declare it. Write it down or tell someone. That's your Lotus Lock. You don't need more motivation. You need a system. You've just learned how to go from stuck and overwhelmed to unstoppable using the Lotus Method. Remember, the difference between average and elite isn't talent, it's the system they follow. Your journey doesn't end here. Your new brain starts now.